Is wiring up the roof pod. On this vehicle itself, we've got a red, a black and a yellow. We'll show you that whenever we're fitting it. We'll also get this stupid switch, which is useless. So yeah, in this wiring kit, what we're going to get is a high beam piggyback loom, which plugs into your headlight. You then get a relay with a couple of wires on it, and you then get a little pack of sorted fuses. So we'll show you now how all this wires up. And the hardest part, I personally think, is just getting the LED light itself mounted onto the roof, but we'll show you that in time. Okay, so the first part of connecting this roof pod onto the Ford Ranger is to connect the high beam piggyback loom. This is what gives the signal to turn the light on whenever you put your high beam on. So if you look down on the passenger side headlight, you shall see down here below there will be a connector. It's quite difficult for me to show you, but it's the bottom connector here, this one here. So if you disconnect that and connect the vehicle wiring loom into this part, connect this part back into the headlight. Okay, so that's it. Dead simple, this part. So if you just have a look down, you'll see the piggyback loom. Hopefully you'll be able to see. The piggyback loom is connected into the car. So this is it here. So this just sits in here nice and neat. Plug and play. You don't need to worry about what wire to guess or anything. That then brings us off with two little pigtails alive, which is the red, which is the only one you need to be concerned about whenever fitting this project. Okay, so the next part of the kit is the relay itself, which is the business end. So on this relay, you're going to have two connectors. You've got a red, which is going to go to your positive, and you have got a black, which can go to any body earth, or quite handily on this insulation, just onto your negative. That then leaves you three wires. We have a connector with, if you look at this, has got a matching connector, which is going to go into our just previously installed high beam piggyback loom, and then that leaves us two wires, these two here, which is going to be connected onto the roof pod itself. Okay, so what we have here now is what I do anyway. I find it the easiest way is if you cut out a very slight part of your cover. That just lets this wire just sit in here. It's only a wee tiny bit, it's not going to do any harm. You can probably route it another way if you wish, but this is how I do it. So then whenever you look in here, you will have this little 8mm bolt. Take that little 8mm bolt out, slide in your terminal, give it a tighten down again. That closes, keeps everything out of the way. What I would say now, your negative black just goes on here. What I do personally, leave that off at the minute. Tuck that out of the way. Don't install that right till the end. Equally, don't install your relay right till the end. Again, I mount the relay here. There's already a factory bolt here. 10mm, it is fiddly. Watch you don't drop a nut. Speaking from experience, I've done it several times. Swearing at it normally helps, I find. But that will keep the wee wiring, the wee relay there. So what we're going to do next is move on to fitting the actual roof pod itself. Okay, so what I have done here is I've put a little cable tie and bunched up all this wiring that goes to this little black box. You're never going to need to access that. That's all the electrics in there. What I've done is I've just used a very tiny little screw just to hold that little box into place there. Do just be careful, don't be using too long of a screw because you'll end up going through your brand new cover, which you don't want. So yeah, that's going to keep everything in there. I then push the wires just in underneath the supplied 3M tape, and this is going to just be the big length of wire, which is the red, the black and the yellow. So yeah, that keeps everything. There is a little cutout there, you will see. And this should all just squeeze down whenever we're fitting it. What I would recommend, I personally would recommend the likes of Tiger Seal or any sort of bonder. Just put a wee thin line along the tape itself, and that's just going to keep everything nice and secure. I've heard people fitting these just with the tape itself and them coming off whenever they've went in the carriageway. Okay, so at this stage we have got our bonder on. we've got a roof pod on, measured up, and some people use sandbags, masking tape, anything, but what I would suggest is you at least leave this sitting overnight to dry for the bonder. Say I used the what it was called, the Tiger Seal for it. So yeah, what I've then done is I have cut a very small hole in the side of the roof rail plastic, and then I've run the wire the whole way down here. Pop off this little cover, just be careful you don't break that because they're expensive. Ran it in underneath the trim, comes out here where you can just see this one wee yellow bit of a wire sticking out. We'll fix that in a minute. Ran it along in here, down the side of the battery, and then this will come out somewhere here. So what we have got now here is a red, a black and a yellow. So on this specific roof, what it is we have a red is positive, we have our black is negative, and then we've got our yellow, which is switch, which is for your high beam. So what we do on this specific model, for example, is we join the red and the yellow together, and then we've got black to black. So we'll show you that now, and where we're connecting that onto is on your AutoVolt, the two remaining wires that we have. So what you're going to do is use whatever connections you have. I'm going to use the connections that I supply in the kit, and we'll connect that on here now. Okay, so final install is we now have our black and our red coming from our relay loom connected. The red, I say on this specific model, red and yellow are joined, going into the positive, and then black is the negative. So that's that connected up. The next stage that we have, the last wire that we have, is this. So this wire will correspond to your piggyback loom that you first installed right at the very start into your headlight. Okay, so last part, final thing is you can now put on your negative or under your body earth or wherever you wish to have it, and you then, last but not least, put in the desired fuse. For this light bar, the power rating, we're going to go with the 7.5 if you install that. And that is the installation done. So we'll now show you this working.